Hey, what's up everyone? It's Matt, and today I want to show you this website called the Library of Babel. I have known about this and used this for a while, but I'm just making a video on it now. I first heard about it from the Vsauce video, Messages for the Future. That is also a really great video, and watch it. I'll put a link in the description. So the Library of Babel, this website is basically inside of it's filled with hexagons and walls and shelves and volumes and books and pages, and every single page has something different on it, and amidst the literally trillions, and way more than that actually, of combinations in the library, you can find every single word, sentence, phrase, spelling, and novel that's ever been written, said, or could ever be conceived. And this sounds crazy, so let me show you how it works. Disclaimer, if you want to know how mathematically and algorithmically it works, you should watch the Vsauce video. What I'm going to describe right now is kind of like an easier just way to understand it. Just conceptually, this is how I understand how the Library of Babel works. Okay, so let's say you start out with a letter string, like AAA, and we'll run a sort of program or code that increases the value of this by 1. So the next one would be AAB, then AAC, AAD, AAE, AAF, AAG, AAH, etc., right? Until we eventually get to AAZ. Now, when we increase this value by 1, it becomes ABA. After that, ABB, ABC, ABD, ABE, ABF, ABG. Oh, whoops, I missed the B there. ABF, ABG. Yeah, and then eventually that'll get to, ABZ, and that'll become ACA. And eventually, this entire string will get to AZZ, which will be BAA is the next. And then eventually, this keeps on going, basically, until you get to ZZZ, the very last letter in this string. And because each letter each slot has 26 possible combinations, there are 26 to the third results that we get when we do all of this. And you'll notice that when we do all of this, the vast majority of what we get is just nonsense, right? Like AAA or AAG, these aren't words. But if you do run every single possible combination of 3 letters, you're also going to get every single real word that is 3 letters long. Like, okay, Abe is a name, not a real word, but just by running this combination naturally, we're going to get every single real word that is 3 characters long, in addition to mostly nonsense. So this is kind of how the Library of Babel works, except instead of 3 characters that it's permuting and changing and increasing the value by 1, it does it with 3,200. And that is what's so crazy and cool about the Library of Babel. So if you go here and click on search, oh, actually, before that, take a look at this. So if you hover over, it does the exact same number increasing by 1 algorithm I talked about before, or just seconds ago, really. So you can see once that U is going to eventually get to WXYZ, then it's going to be CSEB instead of SEA, right? So let's watch it turn to B, and then we'll click search. There you go, and now it does that exact same thing again. Now Seba something, search. So look, enter up to 3,200 characters, and we can just type in exactly what I'm saying so we have an understanding of how this works. Oh, also, whoops, you can write commas, spaces, and periods in here. So that technically gives us 29 possible characters, not 26. Press enter to search, and here we can find that match. We can find it by itself, like we're looking at right now. We can find it within random characters, right? A bunch of gibberish, and then exactly what I said, or wrote, I guess. And we can also find it in random English words. Isograms, private, I don't know what English word that's supposed to be, hanging, refits, and we can just type in exactly what I'm saying. So yeah, I like to go into the random characters so we can go into that. So you see right here we're on page 336 of 410. I want to show you how the library is organized. So I'm going to write that down so I can remember it. 336, and then you can see here volume 4, page 336, volume 4, shelf 5, wall 2. And then Also, the very first thing you need to look at before you can get to the walls, which then lead to the shelves, is the hex. So this is the hex code for what we're looking at. I'm just going to Command A and then copy it. Now, let's go back. So if we go into Browse, you can basically just choose any, this is how the hexagons are labeled. Numbers and lowercase letters, the combinations of them are how hexes are labeled. And you can enter up to 3,260 numbers and or lowercase letters. And so if that's numbers and or lowercase letters, I believe that should be 36 to the 3,260, which is so many hexes, right? There are so many hexes, which is why if when you search for letter strings like we did, specific ones and not random gibberish, the hexes tend to be really long. So this is the length of the hex code we copied, right? I just pressed Command V and it pasted in there, but let's search for that. So now it gives us, so we're in a hexagon, right? And now our number before, it was wall 2, shelf 5, and volume 4, volume 4, so this one. And then the page was 336, so I'm going to type in 335 first. Actually, yeah, I'll type in 335. And this just looks like any average page that we might have looked at before, right? But now, if you go to the next page, you can find exactly what we had said before. So these aren't totally randomly created. These all exist. All the letter sequences exist in the library. You know, there's a version of this page that's exactly like this, but instead of an L right here, that one's an M. Or instead of an A here, this one's an X. Or instead of these lines here, there's the word Barney written over and over and over again. Because there's just every single possible combination of letters and words, of lowercase letters and spaces, comma, and periods, of a 3,200 character length that exist. Everything, you could put the script of what I'm saying in this video in this library and you'd find it. In Vsauce's video, Messages for the Future, he wrote, popularized the word quizzaciously by using it in a Vsauce video and found that in there. Another thing you can do with this library, let's just go to a random page in this. Actually, let's go to the beginning again and just go to a really basic hex. So let's go to the very first. Let's go to the very first hex, very first wall, very first shelf, very first volume, and very first page. Let's see what we can find. If there's anything, you can actually click Anglish right here to. It highlights what it thinks are English words. So look at this. Longest words, whist, and neons. And you can see the word C's in here. This one's green because it contains 2. It contains C and C's. Where, you know, this contains the word doy, I guess. Whatever that's supposed to mean. Oh, here's whist. And neons. I wonder where neons is. It's not really important if we find it or not, but yeah, okay, I can't find it. Oh, we could do Command F. Hang on, neons. Oh, it's gonna be split across the line, I bet. Okay, yeah, here it is. Look, because the search didn't find it. NEONS. Okay, and you know we could just go to a random page in this. Let's go to the second one. Longest word here. I don't know what any of these words mean. Anyway, the point is, you can use Anglicize to search for English words. You can also, if you go back to the portal, you can just, what's random? Does it take you to a random page? Oh, that's kind of cool. Wait, I wonder if it takes you to page 1 of the random book every time. Let's click on random again. Okay, probably. It probably takes you to a random book, but then the pages, it doesn't randomize. Any words here? Kraut. Okay. Flux. But yeah, so you can just, there's so many interesting and fun things you can do with the Library of Babel. You could write your own code in it. You could like hide secret messages. You could find the text of every Shakespearean play ever written. You could also, you can read about the theory behind it all, right? Jonathan Basile, the designer and I guess artist who made this, has written all about it, his initial influence, Um, reference hex. What is this? Yeah, it's basically just explaining what the library is all about, why there are hexes, why they're in that shape, the theory behind it all, and yeah, why hexagons, alphabets, and irony. It's just a really, really fun and interesting website. So I would definitely recommend you play around with it because it's fun. Cool. That's pretty much all I wanted to show you for right now. Thanks, and I'll see you later.